Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education.
Right up here.
So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour
Lights there, darts there.
to show them that higher education means a brighter future. My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
No more pencils, no more books.
No more teachers, dirty looks.
School's out for summer.
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%.
To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org because great things happen when we live united.
Hi, folks. Welcome back. Right now, we have a young man here with us who has a program that we want to tell you about, and this is Mr. K-Rhan. Welcome aboard, Mr. K-Rhan. He has a book that he's written, and he has a program that he's going to tell us about, and it's called Live Above the Hype.
Absolutely. Well, Live Above the Hype, it's really a curriculum, and what it's about is really about focusing on the value systems of a lot of our young people. Because if you notice, it's called a hip-hop curriculum.
I see it, yeah.
And what we're really dealing with, again, we're dealing with the value systems of what I call a post-crack epidemic culture.
Post-crack.
Post-crack epidemic. And anytime I speak, you'll notice I talk a lot about crack.
Yes.
Because I grew up more so in my teenage year. I grew up in the 80s. My teenage years in the 90s. And when you'll see in the 90s, a lot of times we're trying to understand what's going on with our youth. Why can't we reach our youth?
They're trying to recover from that crack epidemic.
The crack epidemic. And more so, not just the physical damage, but again, the value system.
Yes.
Because what started to happen is, if you notice before, particularly in our communities, we valued education. And we always talked about, I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna be a doctor, I'm gonna be, all these type of things. But then if you notice around my generation, you start to hear different. I'm gonna be a rapper, I'm gonna be a hustler, and everything started to be about now.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go to school for 12 years and then go for another 4 and then go for another 4 and hope
Because
to
I
get a
can
job.
do this for the rest of my life.
Today, and I can get paid today.
Yeah.
And we know that's, it's a lot of falsehood in that.
Yeah.
And that's what we do is we focus on that value system.
Well, there's a musician that passed away. Her name was Laura Nero.
Okay.
And she used to play the piano and sing. And she wrote a tune called All Aboard for the Poverty Train.
The poverty train. Wow.
And she sung about how people was getting hooked on cocaine and ended up in poverty.
Right.
And that's what you just explained.
And that's the truth of it. See, and another thing, again, why I focus on hip hop so much is because I can tell you this, in my generation, particularly when I was growing up, and I say this in the literal, all my homeboys and my ladies, my girlfriends and all that.
They're all in hip hop.
Not just they was on the hip hop, all of us grew up in single parent households. None of us had fathers in our households. None, zero. So I go to the homie's house, this is mama. And if she ain't there, it's us by ourselves. Go to my girlfriend's house, it's by herself. So the reason I bring that up is because a lot of us got our social cues from the hip hop artists. I didn't have pops in the house, so I'm listening to Ice Cube. Okay, is this what this is how we treat a lady? This is what a man is about? I'm listening to Tupac. Is this? And we got that, and we got those value systems. And for a while, hip hop was really in our favor. It was balanced. It was in our favor. It was really representing the community. But then you start to notice I always talk about like gangster rap, but not just because when gangster rap first came out, it was more reality rap. Like when Ice Cube came out and NWA,
what was happening in the neighborhood.
It wasn't, because remember, gangster rap wasn't popular then.
No,
it was just
it was outlawed.
It was just a teenage kid writing about what he saw every day.
Right.
And then what happened later is corporate America got involved and started investing in it, and they put that gangster rap on it, and they started saying, you know what, all that fight the power that y'all was talking about in 1989.
Right.
We're done with that. We put money in gin and juice, and I love, like, no disrespect to a lot of the different rappers, because I love it all. But what you started to see was...
But the message changed.
And it changed, not really in the sense of change, it got narrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So before, what happened is if I'm listening to something so-called gangster rap, I still could listen to something conscious.
Yeah.
I could listen to something about partying. I could listen to all of it. Around the early 90s, you didn't have a balance. You just had one message.
Yeah.
One message.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of times when I talk, I'm not big on censorship and let's put an end to gangster or to ratchet or whatever it is.
Right.
Just get some balance.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Let's put some balance back in.
Some balance back in.
Then that's what we're dealing with. It's just like I always use the movie industry. You know, I love Scarface and Godfather, American Gangster. I love that. But then at the same time, I'm gonna put in X and watch Malcolm X. You know, I'm gonna balance it. If all we had was Scarface, there would be a problem. If every movie was just redoing Scarface, that would be a problem. And that's what we're dealing with.
We got to have some true stories.
Right. So that's what this curriculum is about.
Okay. Here's what I wonder, because I know a lot of the older people are concerned about the words used in it and the messages that are in it. It's a negative connotation because they're talking. Does the youth act accordingly to what they're listening to? And I'm knowing they do. I'm knowing if you're listening to that kind of junk, it's going to manifest itself in your life.
Does.
Are they aware of these negative things they listen to? It's going to bring negative things in their life?
No, most of them that I've encountered not. But here's the interesting thing about that, because again, I sit and I analyze this stuff all the time. So I used to say all the time, man, these rappers, look what they're teaching our kids, and
that's
I go through all that.
exactly what I'm talking about.
But check it. This is what I've been where I'm at with it now. I really analyzed it, and I'm saying, rappers are not, or any entertainer, is not always speaking for the youth.
No.
A lot of times they're not speaking to the youth. A lot of times they're speaking for the youth. And what I mean by that is, say I have this say I'm a rapper, and I have the most offensive song you can ever imagine.
Okay.
Right.
And I sell 1 million copies of that song, sell out the arenas and all that. Everybody would look at me and say, why did you make that song?
Right.
No, the question is, why did 1 million people buy that song and connect with that song?
You made that song for the money.
Yeah, because apparently 1 million people connected with that message.
Yeah.
So what I always do is I focus on the value system of not just us, but society as a whole. Like for some reason, our kids are connecting with that, and that's what we got to start dealing with.
Well, I wanted to touch in on when you were talking about growing up in a house without dad. Well, my dad died when I was 13.
Okay.
But when I was 7 years old, to that time, he took me everywhere with him.
Right.
And teaching me things I didn't even understand at the time. But as soon as he passed, things would happen in front of me, and I say, oh, that's what Daddy was talking about.
Right.
You know, so I remember him teaching me, seeing me scared of a Doberman Pinscher and a German Shepherd because we were up somebody's ranch. And he saw me scared, so he knelt down and got eye to eye with me and said, son, you don't have the right to fear nothing but God.
Wow.
And I'm a kid. So I said, not even a gorilla, Daddy?
Not even a gorilla.
And he paused and then said, no, not even a gorilla. He said, don't be a fool and run up on the gorilla, but don't be scared of it.
I hate to cut this conversation
Yes,
short,
sir.
but we're going to have to go to break right now.
Okay.
K-Rhan, this is very interesting. And this book, Live Above the Hype.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I want to read this.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Welcome back for breaks. Thanks for hanging around. Mr. K-Rhan, this is so interesting that you're giving us. Could you give us a summation of your program and what's going on?
Absolutely. Right now, on a community base, we'll be running sessions for Live Above the Hype up at a K-Rhan Cultural Center.
K-Rhan.
Yeah, but my main thing of what I'm really doing is pushing, and I've been sitting at different tables to get this into schools. And one of the amazing reasons why is because, again, we need culturally relevant material in our schools.
Right.
And when I say
So that
culturally,
explains why you have a teacher-parent edition.
Absolutely.
And then that edition is called student edition.
Right.
Student edition.
Right,
Because what I also
okay.
do is I do training, and I train a lot of youth service professionals, different people that work with youth. I train them on youth culture and really understanding what we're dealing with. Because one thing, and I'll wrap it up with this, is it's unfair to the kids of how the school system is set up, where they're living in gang-impacted communities, drug-impacted communities, trauma, all these different things that they that they have to deal with. But then they come to school and we tell them, no, none of that matter. Sit here for 6 hours, pay attention to what I put on this chalkboard. I can't even tell you how what I'm teaching you relates to your life, but you're still supposed to get an A, and then you can go back to your normal life once that bell rings.
And it's been like that.
Yeah, it's been like that.
Because I went through the same thing. The things I learned didn't have anything to do with what I was living.
And then we wonder why they're not engaged.
Exactly.
You know, we have to let them know that their reality counts.
Right.
And we have to,
Absolutely.
and we have to, and I was talking to a superintendent about this. It's not fair to the teachers either if they're not culturally relevant. You know, so they need to be culturally relevant.
I know that's.
And so they can affect the kids. You throw them into the lion's den. They don't understand what's going on, and the kids don't understand what's going on. So how are you going to get growth? So that leads to that school to prison pipeline that we talk about, and that's a whole nother conversation.
You know, this is so beautiful. That's why I brought you on
Absolutely,
here.
brother.
See, because this needs to get out to the public, because we need to be studying culturally relevant things, like you said.
And I want to invite you back.
Okay, absolutely.
I want you to come
Oh,
back.
absolutely. And
I
you
thank
know
you
what?
for having me for this platform in the first place. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. We thank you. We thank you. We're going to have you back because we just gave the public some kibbles and bits because we don't have the time to give you the full course meal. But we're going to bring this gentleman back so we can get into this. We're going to stop indoctrinating our kids and start educating.
Yes,
and we're going to ask important questions of why are we losing the trades and the arts in our schools today.
That's right.
And they're much needed.
Right.
And they are, like I'll say it again, these arts are our connection to God.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And
This is just the first
we need
edition.
to maintain that connection.
Absolutely.
K-Rhan, thank you, brother. Keep
for
up the
having
work. We're all 100% behind you.
Appreciate
Yes,
your
sir.
support. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, sir.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education. So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour to show them that higher education means a brighter future. My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
No more pencils, no more books.
No more teachers, dirty looks.
School's out for summer.
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%.
To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org because great things happen when we live united.
Welcome back. Welcome back, and once again, we want to thank you for being such an informative guest, Mr. K-Rhan. And in fact, we have a spoken word artist who we're gonna bring in right behind you. Here's relevant to this, Mr. Danny Avalar.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Daniel Avila. I go by the name of Thoughts. That's the holder of the sword. And this is called I'm So Lost. I'm so lost. Can anybody help me find my way? I roam from place to place. I've yet to find one where love stays. I'm not sure what I'm looking for, but I know that I haven't found it. They say I'm crazy, but darkness seems to have my life surrounded. This man is crying, swallowing his pride, begging for help. No one is willing to help the hopeless if they can't even help themselves. I've been watching for 10 minutes as the city scurries past. My heart cries out for this stranger. I've played that role in city's cast. There are many in the city worried that this role is just an act. Pretty soon this man grows weary. A friendly face is all he asks. But no one even notices. The city's much too fast. I hear a whisper in my heart, and it tells me I must advance. I don't have much to offer, but I closed my eyes and prayed. Lord, I hear you loud and clear, and I am going to obey. 1 year ago today, that's when you saved me from this pain. Thank you for giving me compassion. Please give me wisdom and strength. Matthew 25:31 through 46. I didn't know it word for word, but I remember the gist. You clothed me when I was naked. My thoughts interrupted by a gust of wind. I look up to the sky and see a storm that's moving in. I'm so lost. Can anybody help me find my way? I roam from place to place. I've yet to find one where love stays. I'm not sure what I'm looking for, but I know that I haven't found it. They say I'm crazy, but darkness seems to have my life surrounded. I walked up to the man, leaned up against the same trash can. I said, my name is Dan, but it really doesn't matter who I am. My God has heard your cry. That's why he sent his only son to die. I shared with him the gospel and testimony of my life and how I slept at that same park before Christ entered my heart. He put me back together when my whole life was torn apart. That love you're searching for is my God. Anywhere you go, he is. Assuredly, I say to you, there is no greater love than his. It's not quite raining at this point, but my face starts to feel a mist. I give this stranger my coat. He says no, but I insist. I see a change in this man, as if all of a sudden he sees. In his face, no longer struggle, but an overwhelming peace. He said, 50 years, and you've been my only friend. Stay the path. I know someday I'll see you again. I've been waiting for this my whole life, but the message I never received. And my eyes swell with tears at his last words. I believe. I'm so lost. Can anybody help me find my way? I roam from place to place. I've yet to find one where love stays. I'm not sure what I'm looking for, but I know that I haven't found it. They say I'm crazy, but darkness seems to have my life surrounded. Thank you very much.
Brother Danny! Thank you much. Thank you much. Much feeling. Danny, we have to thank you, Danny, so much, Danny. That was so beautiful. Anyways, the feeling in it, we all felt it. And
oh yes.
It's how a lot of our youth are feeling today, and we got to help them find their way.
That's right.
Anything we can do to help them find their way.
That's right.
I know music is our connection, though. No doubt about it. Music is definitely a connection. The arts are definitely
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. The pressure's too much. I quit. I get it. I can do better. Just please, don't leave.
Don't let your heart quit on you. Get your uncontrolled high blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late.
I'm one unlucky guy The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning. 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash? 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
And welcome back. We're here right now with the Dean of Communications and Music and Arts at P.C.C, Mr. James, Dr. James Armin. And he's informing us about some things that artists need to know, especially if they plan on making a business out of it. Anyway, I was asking you do teach them some of the business end of the arts. Yeah.
We do, and you know, sometimes kids coming into college, maybe they know teaching, they've seen teachers, music teachers, and they know performing because they've been developing their craft. But then as they continue into college, suddenly they can see that there's a lot more opportunities. So sometimes students, they want to go toward music education and become music teachers, or
we need them.
Performers. But there's also all kinds of jobs in marketing, in music merchandise, publishing, music promotion, music development or fundraising for arts organizations.
Behind the scenes.
Management. So there are many types of careers that students can go to. And what we see now, and I always tell our students that you really need to be very broad in what you do. It's the rare person, and we've had some of those successes, and it's wonderful to see. One of our students was our artist in residence last year, Ryan McKinney, former student at P.C.C, now is an international opera star. And so that's great. That was his goal, and he went and that was it. But many students cobble, I don't want to say cobble, but they pull together a career that combines a number of fields. So they'll teach individual students, young students. They'll also maybe teach classes at university or community college, and they'll do some composing, or they'll do that. So often now the career is not just the singular thing you do, but it might combine a number of different fields of music.
Don't put all the eggs in one basket.
And so you need to be broad, you need to be just conscientious, disciplined, musical, of course, that's always most important, and really have something to say.
I think we all come here with that.
Yeah.
We all have a rhythm. Actually, you have to have a rhythm because our heartbeat is a rhythm.
Yeah,
so we all come here with the rhythm. And what can I say? There's all kind of avenues around the music business that can sustain you.
Sure.
Yes.
And you know, one of the things I notice about artists that they're what can I say? They're not consistent. You know, they tend to fluctuate in the things they do. Some of them never finish a project.
They be changing.
They're changing.
Yeah,
right.
They're not focused enough to stay on one project and finish it.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
I need that.
Yeah. I understood.
Well, and that's, you know, there's really well-directed, goal-directed people in every field, and then there's ones who kind of go day by day. So, but arts take such discipline. So students who've had that opportunity to start in music or any of the arts as a young child, you know, they learn that discipline as well as the artistic side of things. And
that's what I was looking for.
And that often plays out, even people who, students who say, are in the band or the orchestra or the choir in school. They're not planning to be a music major in college, but still they've learned not only to be expressive musically and to be part of a musical community, but those are they gained skills that transfer to other
Musicians
careers.
were always different. They were always eccentric, or they projected a style of being rich in something. If it wasn't monetary, it might not have been money, but they were rich in their talent. They were rich in their conveying of their music. And they always, to me, have always put them in a special group. I mean, I've talked to artists that draw, and back in the 70s and 80s when they talked about revolution, they were saying, hey, they can have a revolution. I'm gonna be sitting under a tree with my sketch pad.
Artists are definitely special, no doubt about it.
And musicians are collaborative.
Yes.
There's occasionally there's the soloist who's just completely a soloist, but they collaborate with other musicians.
Really important, and that's why I'm trying to express public awareness and public support for the arts in our schools. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, because I want to make it known how important music is. Music is more important now.
And you know, we're dealing with college students here, but some of those students come to us from established music instruction, or they've been fortunate that their parents could afford some kind of private instruction. But we also get students who are very musical but haven't had a formal background. And one thing that's wonderful about community college is we can still provide that kind of instruction. And one thing I was admired that K-Rhan said was that we have kids out there who want that instant fame and instant fortune. But the people I've known, and I've seen many that have come through our programs, that learned the craft of making music, and they learn, and the discipline, and they develop the musicality. But they also need to learn the business side, and they need to learn the how to become a musician and sustain a career. And people can do it, but you know, it's one in a million that gets that instant fame. But there are a lot of people, working musicians, who are having a wonderful, gratifying career, but they've learned how to develop that over time, and how to reach and make those connections, and how to promote themselves. And now so many musicians, used to be you'd have a separate recording studio and you have a separate composer. Now it's the one-man show often of the person who writes their own songs, do their own performing, record their own thing, do their own videos, promote it on social media, and so we need to develop that sense of that it's a craft and an art, and that it's something that needs to develop over time.
Because I've actually seen musicians come on stage, and you can tell the difference between the ones who have the classical training, the way they come on the stage, the way they treat their instrument, the way they sit, everything, their body English, and you can see that they were trained that way. Then you have the others who just have a natural talent, didn't receive much training, but I mean, they sound good, they play good, and it's just a difference in the way they present themselves, where you can actually tell.
And that can be learned at any age.
All of that can be learned.
And I'm positive there's a lot of great artists out there of all kinds who don't know how to market their materials, or the business end of it. And that brings me to the question of, you know, I know you have a great facility at P.C.C., great facility, and it's a great place to go learn. But in that curriculum, do they teach them the business end of the arts?
Oh,
as well?
yeah. We have several music business classes. We have the production classes for those students who want to learn to do the recording.